a show that tackles the big issues affecting the BVI and the rest of the Caribbean. Searches for answers to today's big questions and gives viewers a unique perspective on developing stories. Follow the big story with me, Kathy Richards, only on Jtv. This show is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Romney Turtola Pier Park, NV Salon, Nail Spa and Barbershop, Tisley Cross Deliciously Smooth Cider, and Digicel, simply more speed, reliability and entertainment.
Plug into Digicel Plus and get even more entertainment with Disney Plus included. The best of Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and National Geographic all in one place. Whenever you want, plug into Plus to enjoy Disney Plus and much more with a home fiber bundle. Sign up today. Digicel Plus.
This is The Big Story. I'm Kathy Richards. I want to thank you so much for joining us. Yes, in the same outfit, and my guest again for this edition is Bishop John Ivan Klein, because we had to do a part 2 of this. Yes. We had a very interesting discourse in the previous edition, but we want to come to a different topic, Bishop Klein. Is that of what we would have heard just recently at your church where you lead. We've known that you would have started that fellowship from the ground up. We would have seen so many good things happening in that space because under your leadership as the bishop or head pastor. And I think the entire BVI, apart maybe from your regular congregation who would have known this prior, is that you are ready to pass the reign on to your son, Jovan. First of all, give us a little background of you, where you came up from into leadership of this very well established institution here in the Virgin Islands.
Well, first of all, yes, thank you. And we are rolling part 2. Yes. I didn't build the ministry from the ground up. The Road Town Baptist Church was started in 1963 by a gentleman named Jerry Smith. After Jerry Smith, there came another pastor, and Jerry Smith was a white missionary who came and established the church along with, I think, King Garden Bay Baptist Church and a mission in Bruce Bay. After Jerry Smith, they brought a guy from Jamaica whose name, I forgot his first name, Wesley Forbes was his name. And he pastored the church there for a number of years. After he pastored the church, then Cromwell Oliver Hodge, who is the brother to Hesketh and Mark Vanderpool, took over the church. After he left, there was a period where they were without a pastor, about 4 years, and they had a council, like a management council who would manage the church. In 1991, after returning to the BVI in 1989, I was asked to do a 3-night service crusade by the women of the church. And after I finished that crusade, I was asked if I would help them for 1 year to help the pastor preach. He was a Deacon Massburn Cyril, still alive like a rock. And I went to help him preach. So I would preach the 4th Sunday every month. But every time I would show up, then crowds of people would come to church because this young fella, I was 32 years old, would come and preach and stir them up. You know, I had a little different style. This American thing was in me kind of way. And people were excited and they asked me to pastor the church. I said, but no, I didn't come home to the BVI to stay. I plan to go back to America. I just want to build my house so that when I retire up there, I have something here to come home to. Long story short, I said yes, but I'll do it for 2 years. And here we are 30 years later.
Wow.
So I took over the church in 1993. So 2023 will be 30 years. I have been there. But it's under my leadership and the ministry team that we had that we acquired the land in Duff's Bottom. Very instrumental then were two trustees we had, which was Hesketh and Mark Vanderpool. Were two trustees. Mark is no longer a trustee, Hesketh is still on the board. Bought the land in the interests of the church. And we built that building. And, you know, since then we've built the daycare, developed the daycare, the preschool, and then of course Save the Seed, with this bowling alley and the basketball court and the fitness center and the cafe and everything. So the whole New Life campus developed since 1995. And this is where we are. So that is the background. But I do believe that succession is important. I do believe that one can overstay their time in a ministry. You can also leave.
You feel as though you're getting to that point of kind of overstaying, because for many, there's still a whole lot of life in you.
Of course. And there's a difference between me moving off the scene from being the senior pastor to me moving out of ministry totally. I'm not moving out of ministry
That's
totally.
understood.
I will still oversee, provide oversight. We have the church in Virgin Court, of course, with Pastor Gregory Smith. I will still provide oversight. We have, of course, the stuff we do in Africa and some of the churches in some Caribbean islands that we provide oversight. And that is what I will continue to do. But in terms of the pastoral work of ministry, which can be very taxing, in terms of the reach of the next generation, it is my belief that a younger, more focused and vibrant, relevant young man like Jovan, not because he's my son, he's
Well,
just, he's
you
just
know it will
developed
be
into
said
that.
because he's your son. And I'm going to ask you that
Of course.
question as well. Why your son in particular?
Well, you know
what stands out more than the several other ministers that you have within the body?
That's an excellent question. Here's the thing. You know, everyone know that Jovan's mother and I got divorced. I think it was in 2004. And so Jovan never grew up in New Life. He grew up mostly in King Garden Bay Baptist Church. And then when after college, he didn't come to New Life. He went to another church. So he's not even a son that grew up in the church. Jovan started coming to New Life after Irma. After Irma, because nothing don't stop me from having church. It was quite amazing on Sunday that the police arrested me during COVID, and then Sunday they came and gave me a plaque because we had about 100 police and their family in church on Sunday celebrating Police Week. It was quite something to remember. The same people who arrest you now award you.
I remember that day when Katigo bring us.
So, it was after Irma he started coming to church with no ambition. He wasn't even ordained as a pastor. He likes singing. He likes writing songs. And from Irma to 2021, I saw this progressive development in this young man. But it was not only me who saw it. There were others who saw it. I remember one pastor calling me and said, I heard you say many times you're going to resign. He said, your successor is standing behind you, because then Jovan was standing in the praise team. I said, who are you talking about? He said, your son. That's not your son standing behind you? I said, yeah. I said, but he ain't ready for that. Nah. I wouldn't put my son to be the pastor of this church. This church could be a conundrum here, you know. So, and I can only tell you how God brought me to the point, because he's not the most qualified. He's not senior in any way. As a matter of fact, he's the youngest of them all. He's 28 years old. But when God had started tugging on me that this should be your succession, because the church world, if you're really in tune with God, doesn't work like the world. It's just not. And God doesn't move in that way. So he brought Joseph to me. Joseph was the youngest of his 12 brothers. Well, Reuben was the youngest. He was the 11th son of the 12. But God chose him to elevate him above the other brothers. David was the youngest of his brothers. So when Samuel came to Jesse's house to anoint the next king, of course Jesse's going to bring out the most qualified, big, strong man, because you were replacing Saul, and Saul was a warrior. And these other boys are trained on the battlefield. Now, how are you going to take this boy from the pasture and put him to be king? So God had started working me on my mind. Not only that, he said, look at Moses. Moses was the youngest of Aaron and Miriam. Aaron was a priest in his own right. Miriam was a prophetess in her own right. But yet God chose Moses to lead the people of Israel in this weird, because Miriam was the one who pulled the boy Moses, the baby Moses, out of the river. And God worked on me in that way to convince me and persuade me, I know what it looks like, John, but this is my choice. Imagine the trepidation in my spirit, because you have Pastor Claude Klein, who was the likely successor. He's seminary trained, master's degree, he's articulate, he's intelligent, he is, he's a leader in his own right. He's the likely successor. Imagine now me being his uncle, have to go tell him, I believe God said. It was a terrible time for me. Terrible.
What was the reaction?
When I told him?
Yeah.
Well, Claude is always cool and collected, you know. I can't tell you he wasn't disappointed, but because of his maturity, and he's been around church life, and he knows God moves in some strange ways, he took it and made the necessary adjustment, gave himself time to adjust to the idea. But then, right now, he's very much in support of the move and intend to support the young man. And I said to him, I see us, me and him, we are like rocket boosters. We're going to sit on his side and we're going to propel him into orbit. And at some point, what's going to happen to us? We're going to fall our way.
And allow him to
soar. And then I had to, I had to go to the church leaders, I had to go to the pastors, I had to go to the trustee board. This ain't no simple organization. And I had to tell them, this is why I believe God is saying. I came to the church by a vote. There was 11 people that voted on me coming to, and I was voted in 9 to 2. They didn't have the opportunity to vote Javon in, because I said to them, this is what I hear God saying, and they believe. But
was there a confirmation, mostly in the religious realm, in the church realm, when one person gets a vision, a confirmation comes somewhere else say that this is what you should do?
Well, the truth of the matter is there were confirmations before. I just ignored them because in my mind he ain't ready. But where my ease came and the confirmation that I was looking for came was the acceptance of the church.
Okay.
We had some voices who were concerned. We had some person who was saying, well, I think you're doing an injustice to the one who was supposed to come, and all of that. But they said, Bishop, if this is what the Lord is saying to you, we have trusted your voice for the last 29 years. And we have no intention of distrusting it now because the choice seems unlikely. So we are going to fall in line, and we're going to support, and we're going to build up. And so that happened in 2021. All of that happened in 2021.
Okay, so we only now hear this.
Only now you're hearing about it. But this has been in the process within the church, preparing the young man, talking with leadership on every tier, that this is what's coming. We choose now to confer upon him, pastor designate, and then install him on January 29th as the senior pastor of the New Life Baptist Church. And can I tell you, there's an excitement. There's an excitement in the church. There is a new energy being birthed in the hearts and the minds of the people. Because the young man is young, but he's wise. Not easily shuffled. He's not as emotional as me. In my early ministry, I want everybody to like me because I think I'm a nice guy. Everybody should like me. Church isn't like that. People will like you today and hate you tomorrow.
I was shocked when you said something to me. I hope this one ain't coming too much as a shock to you, because I'm going to ask you anyway, because, what you usually hear on the street is that people were gravitated to the church, especially the women, because of Bishop Klein. They went after the man.
Yeah,
and the man took care of the women.
That's I know they took care of them, but they came.
I'm trying to shock you a little bit.
No,
but the truth that we hear out there.
No, but there's some truth to it. Not every woman came, but one lady said to me, I heard about you. I came looking for you, but I found Jesus. That's what she told me. She's married. She has children now for her husband. And she's actually said, I'm glad you didn't pick up on it. She said, but I came for you, right? Listen, I think that in ministry, you only have three things in ministry that can really undermine your integrity. Is women and money. I don't have problem with money. But the female was always a temptation, and you had to be strong and navigate. Some battles you won and some you didn't. Let's be honest.
Human being.
Some you won, and there are those who will tell you, they were strong. I was not strong in every situation, right? But God kept me, because like David, I kept running back to him. Say, Lord, you got to help me. Create in me a clean heart. Renew the right spirit within me, because my desire is to serve God. And so when I fell down, I got back up. And I did the work of ministry. And I was able to accomplish the great work we have done in the New Life Baptist Church, and been a voice to this nation in so many different ways. A trailblazer in other ways. And I believe that the young man will excel what I've done.
I looked at I was one of your virtual members online there yesterday, and I recall coming down to the bottom where the line of, I think, Rotaractors who stood up, and what went back to my head when you would have already said, this is the young man who's going to be your successor in such and such a time. I'm like, okay, is it a vision where you see the cries of the people being answered for the saving of our young people?
Part of it is that, because there's a generation coming that I would not be able to reach. I just won't. Now, the question would be from many, well, couldn't he reach them another way? Couldn't he reach them as a youth pastor or something like that? He will not always be young. I remember when I came to the Rotom Baptist Church, and the young people, the group of young people that gravitated to me. You might find this Surprising, but I baptized Natalia Wheatley. I did.
Back to church.
I baptized that young man. The first sermon he ever preached, he preached it in the Rotown Baptist Church. I always remember this. Yes.
Was a preacher?
Yes, he preached a sermon one youth Sunday called "For You I Will," taking it from the song, "I will cause the ocean for you, I'll go and bring you the moon.
Yes.
I promise you, for you I will." And he juxtaposed that with what God is saying to us. No matter how far you fall, no matter how far you drift, I love you so much, and I will cross the ocean for you. I will go and bring you the moon. I give my son for you I will. I'll never forget that message that young man preached at the age of about 15, 16 or something like that he was. And so that was the type of young people that gather around and give me fuel to move on at the age of 33 at the time. And 63 now. Listen. No. Of course.
No.
And 30 years I've been there. And I just believe in succession. I believe in passing on the baton. I believe in reaching the next generation because we have already lived our lives. I have more days behind me than I have ahead of me. Why not pass the baton to someone who is going to reach and impact the generations to come?
You can help to afford a mentor.
Because we need to save this nation, this great little nation of ours. And we need, in order to save the nation, we have to save the generations to come. And I believe that God handpicked him. He wasn't picked by me. God handpicked him to carry on the great work that he's allowed me to forge down at New Life. And I think greater is still to come. We will move from glory to glory.
Okay, but I'm going to pitch this one that, I saw written in some blog or something somewhere where, the suggestion is, okay, May 2023 is when we're expected to have our next elections by. Bishop Klein is now announcing in October that he's going to be passing on the mantle and stepping down as a senior pastor for his church. Who smells a rat that Bishop Klein is now looking possibly at running for government?
I would say to those people, I ran for government before, right?
Yeah.
So I don't need to step down to run. I could just simply run again. And I think now I would have a better chance in my position running. Because I think people understand the value of what I have to say. So I don't have to resign my position to run. Is the BVI ready for a senior pastor being a politician? Maybe not, but on the side of that, I think my voice have been impactful in this nation in my position. I think I've created more impact from where I sat than some politicians who've been in there and you don't know what they've done. And I believe that I've created impact in this country just from my position as senior pastor of New Life Baptist Church. So I am not looking for position, I'm looking for impact. I don't have to be given a title to do work for my country. I will do it no matter where I am. You don't give me no title. I can just pull me to work and I will work. That's why when I was at HSA, we forged tremendous partnership, made tremendous progress, moved us from old peoples to new peoples, trying to build capacity. It wasn't about the title. It was people who know how to do things and accomplish stuff. So that's not in my mind to run for politics. That's not what's in my mind. Could it be considered? I'm not saying it can't. I'm just saying my decision to step away from the senior pastor position has nothing to do with politics. I tried to do this 5 years ago, and the Lord did not allow me to. This time, He's given His blessing. The Lord has chosen His successor, not me, and He will show me my next. And whatever He says next, I'm willing to follow.
Even if it means running for government.
Even if it means running for government.
Have any of the existing parties, or probably ones that are looking to come into place, have anybody approached you over the recent months or weeks?
Here's what I would say to that. I am not going to make a decision like that on my own. If persons think that I have something to contribute, then and they can convince me that I'm not going to go in there and sit on a table, around a table every Tuesdays and Thursday talking foolishness, pontificating for long hours and not getting anything done. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in having a position just to have a position to say I'm elected. I'm a doer. So if you put me in there, you have to make sure that I'm going to do. Because if I can't get it done, then I'm going to give you back your title, or whatever it is, your honorable title, or whatever it is. I am not the type. No, I can't do that. So
To my direct question.
The truth of the matter is, I sometimes I feel best serving my country on a board that's moving something forward. The work we do on the RDA, I appreciate the work, because I can drive by the high school and see it going up. I can drive Fish Bay and see a road being paved, and I know it came in on budget, and I know it's coming in on time, and I know what we're spending, I know we're getting value for dollar. I can appreciate that. If you can put me in an environment like that that said, here's our national agenda, John, here's this team, move this forward, I can do that. Sitting in a room, that's not attractive to me.
And any closing, Bishop, I'll ask you, were you approached?
No, I was
no
not.
one is approached.
No, they're afraid of me.
He says they're afraid.
They are.
They're afraid
Most politicians are afraid of me, because I am not a party politician. I'm not a politician, but if I'm a politician, I'm not a party politician. I am a national guy. And while I can support a party agenda, I can only support it if it's in the national interest of the country. But I can't be a VIP and the VIP doing foolishness and me. No. I can't be NDP, PVIM. I can't be none of that if you are not moving the country forward in the right direction. I can't do that. So they're afraid that I will go rogue on them, so they're not going to approach me.
Bishop Glenn, as always, look, I don't know that I can get a more candid guest than you, and I really, really, truly appreciate you saying what you have to say in your deepest of honesty, and always willing to share. Congratulations on the 30 years. I know you have just 2.5 months more there. I know that you are going to be a great support for your son. You almost forgot that he's the third and not the second child.
Well, no, I said the third.
You mistakenly said the second.
No, I said
you corrected it to say
yes,
the third.
Yes. And a lot of people have been wondering, because somebody texted me about that today. Said some people are confused. Who's the other one?
Yes.
But he was stillborn.
Oh.
But I remember holding him in my arms.
Yes, forever that would still
right?
be baby.
And I remember us giving him a name.
Ah.
His name was Tyler.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
So I can't forget him. I can't forget him.
Sorry.
So he's the third one.
Mm.
That's why I said that. I corrected myself.
My heart too. I'm a mommy, so never lost a child, but I could only imagine.
It was a very difficult time. Very difficult time. But I remember holding him and his head full of hair. And,
Tyler, continue to rest in peace.
Yes.
Yes. On that note, we'll go out seeing for the first time Bishop John Ivan Klein eyes are watered on the set.
On the set.
On the set.
This is a common thing in church. With
on the set.
Not on the set.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
That says your heart.
Yes.
And thank you for joining us for this edition of The Big Story. Kathy Richards.